Okay, we're going to talk about density. More specifically, most of what we're going to talk about, it has to do with population density. So density is how crowded, or population density would be how crowded a place is. Just density is something's mass over the volume. So it's how much something weighs over how big something is. So if you had a brick and then a pillow that were the same size as far as length, width, and height went, the brick's density would be higher because its mass is greater. It weighs more, it's heavier than that pillow would be that's filled with like feathers or whatever. Population density is the number of people divided by or over the area that those people are in. So a city is going to be more densely populated. That's what that dense word means. It's more densely populated. It has more people per square mileage than a rural area of town. So if we were going to find the population density for our classroom, we would take the number of students in here and divide it by how big my portable is. Moving on from that, example number 1 says kids in Cuba's rural areas often play baseball with aluminum balls, each with a diameter of 7.26 centimeters. I'm going to go ahead and note that since the diameter is 7.26, the radius is going to be half of that, just 3.63 centimeters. Let's see, where was I? If aluminum has a density of 2.7 grams per cubic centimeters, what is the mass of each ball? So one way to remember back up here the formula, mass over volume, is if you look at the units that it's in. Grams is how much something's going to weigh, that's the mass, and cubic centimeters is the volume. So grams over cubic centimeters. So density is equal to mass over volume. We know the density is 2.7. We are looking for the mass, and the volume, we aren't told the volume, but we're told the radius of this ball or a sphere. So we can find that really quick. So first I'm going to find the volume of the sphere, to 4 times pi times r, 3.63 to the third power, and divide it by 3. So 3.63 times 3.63 times 3.63. That's going to give me, I'm going to go ahead and multiply by pi. It's going to give me 200 cubic centimeters. Now I can plug in my density of 2.7. I do not know the mass. I know the volume is 200. Solving for m, I just multiply both sides by 200. 2.7 times 200 is 540 for the mass. And that's going to be in grams. Okay, moving on. Number 2, which state has the greatest population density? So which state is going to be the most dense? If I look at these states, we live in Florida, we know what it's like. North Carolina and Georgia, I don't know, feel kind of similar to me, except Atlanta in Georgia is a really, really big city. And then Texas. Texas is huge, so we would have to have a lot of people to make Texas as crowded as these other states, I believe. So back up to the top where it said population density, number of people over the area. We're going to do that for each of these options. So for Florida, number of people over the area. So 18,801,310 divided by 53,927. Gives me 348.6. I'm going to repeat that process for North Carolina, Georgia, and Texas. So I have 9,535,483 divided by its area, 48,711. Gives me 195.8. Georgia, 9,687,653 divided by its area, 167.3. So far Florida is the most dense. And then Texas. Look at how many more people Texas has than these other ones. They have 25 million, while North Carolina and Georgia only have 9 million. But when we look at the land area, all three of these first states are, around 50,000, 50 to 60,000. And Texas is 261,000. So I'm going to divide the population by and you get 96. It's way smaller than these other ones. That means Texas is way less dense. The people are very spread out. There's lots of land. There's lots of room. All of that. So the highest number, Florida, is the most dense. So I'm going to say Florida is most densely populated. Okay, the local theater has an area of 2,121 square feet. At the last banquet, the fire department surveyed the theater to make sure the event was not overcrowded. The fire department's inspectors found the population density to be 0.1428 people per square foot. How many people attended the theater on that day? Okay, so the population density is equal to the number of people over the square footage. And you can, if you forget that, look at the units of the population. It's people per square foot, number of people per square feet. So I'm just going to multiply both sides by 2,121. And I get 303. And then last, here's a table of some metals and their densities. A necklace found at a pawn shop is 192 grams, so that's mass, and has a volume of 19.5 cubic centimeters. What metal is the necklace made of? So once I find the density, mass over volume, I am going to compare it to my list of the densities for different types of metals. So 192 divided by 19.5, that gives me 9.8. Looks like that is closest to bronze. And that is it for our density.